Cool. We should going live. Give me 2 seconds. So we live now. Good evening,
Hello.
everyone, or good morning to you guys in LA as well. No. So today we have a special guest. Before I introduce him properly, we're gonna do as always. We're gonna play the show real quickly so you guys know a little bit of the work, and then we introduce him and start talking to him. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna share the screen. Cool. You guys should be able to see. Let me know if you guys can hear the audio.
Yeah.
This the kind of beat to go rat-ta-ta, rat-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. This the kind of beat to go rat-ta-ta, rat-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta-ta. DJ Spillis, we be the realest team on the billis. Watch out, I kill it, watch out, I spit it on the mic, feel it. Y'all can't do what I do, just admit it. I'm about to get it, money, get it. Drop it to the floor, shake my big bitties, bopping like did it. My face look pretty, y'all ain't doing shit, no, I done did it. Cause I'm marvelous, fantabulous, a bad chick. The flow sick like oh shit, you know this, I'm too fit to ever quit. Knocking these fools out like pool sticks. I do this, I move this, I prove this. Bars be hard like a pound of bricks. It go up, jumps the boogie to the bang bang high. It's the kind of beat to go rat-ta-ta.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, really nice. So tonight we have our guest, Adamas Batista. So Adamas is a Brazilian living in US, more to say in LA. So before we go anything and talk, Adamas is really famous for his craziness with colors. I think you always been like that. Now, since I know your work, you've always been like punching your face, colorful, and yeah. And I love also because you have this phrase now. You're selling colors, and I think it's amazing that we're gonna touch base on that. But if you can just introduce yourself, so people know you a little bit, how you start in the industry would be quite nice. A little story to tell everyone.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. I mean, thank you, Thiago and James, for the opportunity to talk to you today. Yeah, I'm Adhemas. I've been living in Los Angeles since 2006. I moved with 2 kids, and then I got here. I had 2 more kids. Brazilian energy. You know how that goes. So I've been here since then. I'm from São Paulo. Originally, I'm from Zona Leste, which is the east side of São Paulo. Kind of rough over there, but I had my whole childhood living in Coab 2, it's like a projects kind of like place, kind of like New York. Brazil kind of copied that formula and created those spaces in São Paulo, where the family is kind of far from downtown. And I lived there 20 years. I have 4 siblings, one brother and 3 sisters. And I kind of got into this, graphic design, visual design, whatever, kind of like from the back door, to be honest. Because, I mean, I grew up, I love to make drawings. I love to make comics, Superman, and kind of like reading the comics and trying to mimic the drawings, like watching, anime. Loved Sanseiya, the Cavaleiros do Zodíaco. It was my thing, and then I loved that. But then, family was super religious, so they hated that. My parents kind of hated that I was drawing like superheroes. They thought was the devil. I love my parents, by the way, but just, and then at some point, my brother, he's older, he's kind of like a protege, like very kind of genius guy. And he started working very early as well, like 14 years old, he started working. And by age 19, he kind of opened up his own little shop selling cables and hubs for networking. And then he was like, hey man, I know you love drawing, and there's this computer graphics thing, there is a computer here, try it out, see how it goes. I don't know anything about it, but and I'm so grateful for my brother for that opportunity. He really like gave me the chance to kind of like learn something, and I embraced that. Like I was like, I'm learning PageMaker, learning Illustrator, I learned Photoshop, I learned, I start learning all these things. I started 15 years old. And then since then, being in some studios, design studios, like internet, kind of like agencies. So started with the, Agência Click, then went to a Map BDO in Brazil. And then there I did the Havaianas project. And Havaianas kind of like, it's part of my, almost like my journey, right? Like I started there, did this whole campaign for Havaianas with Marcelo Serpa, which is like an icon in advertising Brazil. And then after that, I kind of like, went freelance and started making a lot of, projects for kind of worldwide. And then that I launched my portfolio with I'm Selling Colors. We can talk about that later, but that's where it kind of started. And then from there, I got a proposal to come to Los Angeles. Hello Design was the place. I was grateful for David for bringing me to the US. Came to Los Angeles and I never left. Fell in love with the city. Really like the city. It kind of has, when I got in, kind of had the Brazilian weather. Right now, it's not really because it's kind of like all over the place.
You might have to look for somewhere else to move to.
So cold right now, at least for us, right? Like we complain because we were from LA, like it gets a little cold, but right now it's cold and talk about global warming, but anyway. So yeah, I've been in LA since then, and my kids are older now, and I'm working on an advertising agency. Been there for 5 years, leading the design team at Deutsche LA. There's many big clients: Taco Bell, Walmart, PetSmart, Lowe's, NerdWallet. There's a bunch of them. 23andMe, and I'm leading the team, like all the KDP products. So we have Snapple, we have Dr. Pepper. There's a lot of fun stuff going on, and yeah, I've been blessed with a really good team as well. And I want to give a shout out to all the team because they're awesome people. And that's kind of like in a nutshell who I am.
That's nice, man. And talk about, like where you come back. I don't know if it's gonna make any sense, but where all that love for colors,
Yeah.
because it's is it because you grow up in Brazil and Carnival, that kind of thing? That's probably what everyone think, but because nowadays it's really trendy. We're talking about everyone using really strong colors, punch, but man, you come back, really long time using that, when it was like quite complete opposite what was people doing. So where comes that,
I think to add to that, and this is probably, Thiago can probably help answer this as well, but there's definitely a correlation between Brazilians and loud colors, or is it as it seems to do with the Latino blood? I don't know, but there's definitely some like big correlation there. I wonder what the genesis of that is. I mean, is it like Thiago was saying, is it to do with like Carnival or that kind of side of things?
I think, well, I always kind of got colors easy. I don't know. I'm self-taught, right? I never went to school for this, but kind of like had a way of like merging colors together and kind of like make it look, in a way that I kind of liked it and people liked it as well. But that kind of started, I think, there is the Brazilian thing, which is like the Brazilian colors, the graffiti. Like São Paulo is a city with a lot of graffiti. And like I said, I also love comics. And comics today, like a lot of the books, they're kind of like, they try to make more realistic. But the ones I like is the one that are like very vibrant colors, you know, like the old ones are kind of like, if you look them like Superman with, you know, his red tongue, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's so contrasting, the colors, and I love that. And I think from when I got the opportunity to work on the Havaianas brand, it was like, it opened up this Pandora kind of box for me, because I was like, I can use whatever color, you know, I can do whatever I want. And I start like mixing, matching all together. And that kind of like opened up a line of work for myself. And then everybody that was like seeing that kind of work, they were like, can you do this for me? Can you do that for my brand? Can you? And I kind of like started doing that. But before, if you look my work, I mean, I wouldn't look my work before, because
we always
we'll hide that away.
Like, shit. But anyway, it was like I was trying to do what everybody else was trying to do. You know what I mean? Like, just trying to fit in. And then at that point, I realized I don't have to, right? Like, I don't have to fit in. I just gonna like try to be myself more and put my colors in. But I think throughout the years, I think every creative goes like up and down, right? I thought that my work was too tied with Havaianas for a while. And then I started exploring other things, right? And went up and down, up and down. And then I think now I feel like, okay, the colors that I'm bringing is really like my thing, you know. I always had that, but now it's like really my own thing. So
I have a bit of a theory about colors. Like, I kind of feel like if you're confident in what you're doing with them, then you can make them work. Even when you look at proper color theory, it's like, well, that shouldn't work together. But if you're confident in your design and illustration, I think there's always a way to make a color combination work regardless.
Yeah, exactly. So
unless I'm talking shit.
That's a good point, because honestly, I never really thinking about color theory. I learned color theory after.
Yeah. I mean, that shouldn't work, but it does. I mean, it kind of, I don't know.
I kind of learned that after, because like I said, I didn't go to school for this, but I made a course for Domestika. It's gonna be ready soon. And the producer was kind of like, man, we need to put a process in your work. I was like, there is no process, you know. Embrace the name of the course is Embrace the Chaos. And then it was like no process. I couldn't find, and then I had to kind of like think about, you know, and teach about kind of like highlight color theory, because my work is so colorful, right?
Yeah.
Kind of had trouble getting there, but I think I did okay.
So let me touch about like process as you talk, because it's, for me, it's nice to hear, you know, someone like you with a massive bag with work, you know, talking about, you know, there's no process on that, because nowadays everyone pretend to be, ooh, I do like this, you know, like, you know, it's like fine arts when they put like a shit inside a pot and say, wow, it's stuff, you know,
so
smoke a joint and start thinking about, oh, the theory behind this shit on the pot is because this, you know, and start creating that shit. So it's quite trendy nowadays. So I really love when you say, you know, it's no process. So can you explain a little bit, you know, how do you start your project? You know, like, do you? I assume you do have some kind of process, you know, but they transform through you developing the work, you know.
Yeah, I mean, throughout the career, I had to obviously learn all the things, especially when you lead a team, you have to, you know, learn a lot of things. And one of the things that it's very important in my work always been is like the strategic thinking. I don't like to do anything that doesn't have a reason or a meaning behind, right? Like everything that kind of do, like I can explain, right? And that's how I usually start a project. I think about what is the reason, the why behind that project. And then from there, it's is a roller coaster. It's like I open a canvas, I start creating shapes, I go back and forth from Cinema 4D, Adobe Illustrator, Photoshop, and then kind of like blend out together, and like the process go back and forth and mix and bring it back, you know, like, and that's how I get something done. There isn't really like, I usually, even if I put like a structure, I'm the one breaking the structure, because my brain kind of like can't really tie to that structure, you know what I mean? Like, so until it's final, I'm still like changing and you know, looking at the things that I did in the beginning, and then kind of like trying to get it done. So it's like, that's why like the latest collection of work that I've been doing is really about this chaos. It's like embrace chaos and just be happy with it, you know.
I was wondering, I don't know, kind of does this apply to like every aspect of life, or is it just work where it's kind of like a contained chaos where everything else is a bit more regimented, or is it just everything's chaos?
I'd say so. You know, I'm always wearing black. This is one thing to control chaos, right? Like it's starting to control chaos. Let's think about that.
The opposite.
Like the work is completely chaos. I think everything else is very quiet and simple and nimble. So like I always wear black. I don't want to think about clothes. You know, married to my wife over 20 years. We have 4 kids. So like family person, kind of like, so the chaos is kind of controlled in my personal life. I think I bring the chaos on my design and artwork, and that's where it's completely nuts. I think.
You mentioned you have kids. Do they work? Are they in the creative industry as well? I mean, you mentioned 2 of them before we went online are a bit older, like in their 20s. Do they work in the creative industry, or is it completely different?
Well, my son, he's in college, and he said, I want to be a designer. I was like, why? And he was like, you work too much. You work too much. I don't want to be a designer. But he's actually coding, like he's learning software engineering. So it's gonna be on the computer anyway. So you know. Man,
I'm just thinking like if I had like a son or daughter who was a designer, like if they asked me, hey Dad, what do you think of this illustration or this design? Like, nice. You can't give a proper opinion.
Yeah, you can be like Miyazaki, just a dick dad. No?
Yeah, dick dad.
Go to your kid's show and say, disappoint me and just live in the middle. No?
Man, Christmas would be a nightmare.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, my daughter is learning photography and film, but yeah, like they sometimes come by and look at the work and be like, did you do that? I was like, yeah. I was like,
Yeah, I was going to ask, like, what do they think of your work? Do they think of you as like, like, do they think of you as like just dad or the cool dad? Or...
No, yeah, these kids, man, they'll try you for sure. But I think I keep joking and say every time I come, like, you're gonna be a designer. No, I'm not. I'm not gonna be a designer. Yeah, you're already like on the computer all the time. You're gonna be a designer. They go like,
you're on the computer. You work late. You've probably not got a girlfriend yet. Yeah, you're gonna be a designer.
You're gonna be a designer.
It's designer or incel. That's the only 2 options.
And then that's the thing. Like you can't really. It's not the worst, True. Like to be a designer. Come on.
Man, I'm scrolling all your Instagram page because I'm just reading your cap and saying no drop shadow. Where they come from? I can't find any drop shadow on your work. So do you hate that much?
I do hate it, and this was to actually during the pandemic, obviously we were working well remote, and then there was like a lot of presentations going on, and I was sending subliminal message to the agency, like without saying anything, just kind of like poking fun, and that was a way to kind of like, hey, don't do drop shadows. But then people really liked the hat, and yeah, so I'm actually working on a little, like my own little shop, and I'll have the hat there if anyone wants to buy it.
We can do a trade. We'll do a trade.
There's better ways to do shadows. Sorry, come again.
We'll do a trade with our make animation great again hat.
I get one hat to show you.
Yeah, it's been like almost like 3 or 4 years since this pandemic started that I've been wearing this hat.
So that's our hat.
Nice. So
I think you're gonna do really well in US with the, I think
it'd be fun to make a t-shirt, like the Beatles t-shirt of like, Ringo or whatever, all the names down here. I think you could do one that says like layer 1, layer 2, layer 50 final, layer whatever, and then have like, name your layers across your cap.
Name your layers. Make the
layer. So let me, you touch about you're gonna have a shop soon. So tell me a little bit more, where the idea come, is because like what we do nowadays is we are service based basically, we create, and I just wanna see if that's the direction you're going, but is more like a passion project for you, because being service-based, the only way we make money is working more or getting more minions under us and put them to work. It's not.
Is that what you call your staff?
No, I'm saying about the kids. That's why we're having kids nowadays.
Yeah, that's why I got 4 kids. Just kidding.
And you gave birth to a studio.
Almost ready to retire.
Yeah, I'm a software engineer, a photographer, filmmaker. No, just kidding.
Yeah. But the thing with a shop, with a product sells. They sell. If you create a brand, then you can sell the product, and it's like it doesn't mean you need to work more to sell more. You sell as much as the product that the people want, so you're still making money. Is it anything like about revenue to help out, or is something you always has a passion? I'm asking that because I always want to have a t-shirt shop. That's something I always love, t-shirts, and but that is a passion of mine, and I never did it because I don't have the time and I don't associate with the revenue. But I want to see where your shop is coming from. What is the reason behind the story, if you have?
Yeah, so I actually bought the domain imsellingcolors.com. So perfect for what I'm trying to do. And then the way I'm thinking, it's like it's small. It's like just sell my own art. I think a lot of the designers right now, they do have like their work, their service, and then they have like some things that they are passionate about. Like I'm the same. Like I have a few things that I'm passionate about, and people ask me, like they go like, hey, where do I buy this hat? Where do I buy this, like this smiley thing kind of. So I want to just have a few items there, but there is also other things that, over 20, almost 27 years, I have a lot of assets that I created. So I want to kind of like put that together as well. Like I have fonts that I have made. I never really put anywhere, but like, I just want to kind of like have a place where I can put, make those available. So like shapes and vector shapes, and also like fonts and things like that. So I can put in there. And if people want to buy it, I think that would be awesome. I hope they do, but it's not, I don't think it's going to be my main source of income. It's really like something where I can sell my own stuff and have something and just, just do my own thing.
Nice.
Yeah.
And when the shop is coming? You have a date for that?
It's how it goes, right? Like back in Brazil, there is this comedian guy that he did, like, DD, like he kicks the corner on soccer field, and then he runs to head it. Like that's my thing right now. Like I have to do everything, like prepare the store, put out the products, and do everything on my own. So it's taking a little longer. But yeah, it's coming. I already tested a few products and it come out well. Like there is ways of like using Shopify with a plugin that is like on demand kind of product. So like the hat per se, like you don't have to produce 100 hats. Like you just they'll produce the hat if you buy it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like so if someone buys it, they'll send it to you. So I think that's great because it's also like very sustainable, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like you don't have, like, I try to create like my own kind of store, I don't know, like 10 years ago. And I made a bunch of t-shirts and really cool. I silk screen, I kind of like did all that, like kind of 3 or 4 boxes of those. But then I was like, I don't have time to sell it.
Yeah. And also space, and also, all the space takes,
Well,
exactly. That's not my thing, right? Like, so that's why I like this one now, because like Shopify has those plugins that you can use and they'll take care of everything. They'll take care of like delivering, they'll take care of like, labeling. You can even use a logo on the label that they put in the box, which is awesome. Like it feels like it comes from me, right? So I think that's awesome. So testing that first, and I think it's gonna
cool. Because if just turn like a full-time job, I just imagine the amount of posts you need to do. It's not comparing here, but I don't know if you saw this documentary about that guy turning to be the biggest drug dealer on the internet. He spent his whole time just fucking going to post. I'm not saying that's what's gonna happen to you, but
his product's probably better, right?
Well, you can imagine, you're gonna need to quit
hat.
your job just for posting.
We have a couple of questions on
we got
YouTube.
good ones.
Well, one of them's in Brazilian, so I'm not going to offend you in my Portuguese, but I'll ask the one underneath it, and you can handle the Brazilian one, Thiago. But Justina Bog asks, what inspires your work? How do you come up with your ideas? Is other people's work or something else?
Yeah, that's a tricky one because it's like a blend of things. I think also my inspirations are chaos, right? Like I love graffiti. That's one thing that I always love. I always wanted to make my own mural. I did one for the agency back like 5 years ago, but it wasn't like just me doing murals and things like that. I want always to kind of like do that. But also I love the Japanese culture. I went to Japan a couple of years ago and it was amazing. But I always loved, the robots and the anime, the movies, and Akira, and that was like always been a big reference for me. And also, like everything they kind of like colorful. I love this trend that there is like more is more in design, graphic design, right? Like you put more and more and more instead of like less is more. I love that. And I think that I get inspired with the kind of like looking at a lot of like this overload of images, like overload of references, and I kind of like get inspired by that. But it needs also very energetic music, obviously, because like
at least 170 BPM.
Like, something that's like pumping the head, so I kind of like get excited about. I don't like to work with quiet music because then it makes me sleepy. Yeah, and I think that's mainly it. Like I love a few artists, obviously, like James Jean is one guy that I always like look at his work. I was like, how the fuck he does that? And he's so good.
He's got great ideas.
Yeah, it's a lot of that, but like, you know, I got a bunch of references here and books. I still love books, I know, but there's no better thing than a book. Like sometimes you just like open up. This one is new. Got this one. It has everything.
I like that it's spelled color correctly.
Yeah, because they are from there. Yeah, and then it's like I always like checking what people are doing. Back in the day, they used to have the computer arts magazine.
Oh yeah.
I used to have like a pile of those. Yeah, I always love to kind of like collect those as well.
Do you find that like having kids and stuff, do you get like inspiration from your kids because they'll see something in a completely different way to how, like for example, you'll see something or I'll see something? Do you find that kind of like makes its way into work somehow or some way as well?
It does. I think one thing that have kind of like boosted my new work, it's really being the TikTok language, right? And my kids are all about that, right? Like the way they talk, the things they see, the things they watch. Like sometimes they are watching, I still find fascinating. It's just a YouTube of a guy playing video game and talking bullshit on a video game, you know? And to me, that's like, why, you know, like why are you wasting your time doing that?
They probably think the same thing about this.
But this is the kind of thing that's like, because they're in this generation, Gen Z, and kind of like in the midst of it, I find it very inspiring because I also kind of like see their content by extension. And that kind of helped me to kind of like even refresh my own work, right? Like there is a lot of the work that I've been doing now with like using some of the slang, some of the words. And yeah, I think that helped a lot, honestly, because right now I'm like, you know, 42, you start to get older and it's like your slangs get old.
Yeah, I'm not cool anymore.
They get old. It's like, you're not cool. I mean, I wasn't never cool, but you know.
And how do you feel, you know, because you said you have 4 kids, man. How is like the life balance, you know, with a family, you know, having 4 kids and managing to work, you know, and because you can see
YouTube questions too, isn't it? Like from Megan and Palaros. Yeah, what you say?
Yeah, there is one question because like also like you told us you learn a lot by yourself, you know, and of course you need testing a lot of things, you need to study a lot, you know, that takes a lot of time. It's not like a 9-to-5 job where you go and do the job, go home, done, look after the kids. So how do you get the balance with that?
Well, I'm married to a hero. She is completely amazing. And since the beginning of our marriage, like she took the care of the kids, right? Like she'll stay with the kids so I could do the work. I mean, obviously sometimes like kids crying, I'm making designs with the kid on my arms. Now they're older and it's a way easier. Sometimes I don't even see them. You know, like just go upstairs and do whatever.
Oh, you're still here? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm still here, yeah. Well, when I see them, it's like they're asking for something. You know, like, can I get some credits for Roblox and things like that? But
man, I hope you named them like layer 1, layer 2, layer 4.
That'd be funny. I should have. But that's the thing. I have a wife that, you know, she really like took a lot of the work from me, you know, like when I was working nights and learning and making things, she was taking care of the kids, and we kind of like divide and conquer on this. And yeah, that enabled me to do the work that I do. So half the credits is for her, obviously, because she did a lot of the work together with me.
That's nice.
I think we should have a shout out for all the mothers and women out there.
Yeah,
I think it's something that we don't say we appreciate enough, and we do appreciate it.
we do.
And fuck, it's a lot of work, man. 4 kids. I have 1. I can't imagine to have 4. And I wish.
I think your wife would probably argue that she's got 2.
Yeah, I think that's the reason. I wanted a second one, and she said no. So that's probably the reason she already have 2. But man, I really admire it because having 1, I know how hard it is. Like working on the industry. Our job is not just come and do the job, and the creative. Sometimes you need the process takes completely. It's not just going to the work. Work 9 to 5 and you get creative. You need to really dive in the process. It's quite amazing seeing. Where you come from and where you're getting now. It's a big achievement, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. And I agree with you. It's like if you're young creative and you think you're gonna have like a 9 to 5 job, you're not serious about this, because our job, it's like it's always on, right? Like it's always on. Like you think about an idea, you can't turn it off. It's impossible. So, I mean, I'm the kind of person, like, if I don't get that idea out, I can't do anything else. Like I get stuck. So, yeah, like there is no hours, and there is no. So it kind of like. It's very organic, and like I said, it's chaos, right? Like
I think the problem is the idea always comes at an inconvenient time. It will be like 12:30, just after midnight, where you're trying to sleep. People are like, oh, for fuck's sake, and then you have to write it down and do something so you don't forget it. It's like, God damn it!
Yeah, exactly. You gotta take those little moments that you have, like you talk about work balance, right? Like I have, like, if I have a moment, I just take my kids to the movies, right? Like, let's go to the movies, let's go to dinner, let's go somewhere. So like, that's the way we get to bond, right? Like get together, because you gotta have like those moments. And I mean, I hate planning anything. Like let's have a dinner on Sunday, or like, that's not gonna work. We're gonna cancel. You know what I mean? Like, so it's very like on the moment.
Yeah, but it's really nice you comment on that, because I think I don't know. We come from a completely different generation. Like I've been talking a lot with a lot of friends. Like coming from the 80s. Even a friend of mine called us the therapy generation, because we have so much problem. But in the other hand, I've been seeing we're talking about life balance, and even I was listening Erin Sadovsky. She did one with us as well, and she did on the podcast, and people was asking her about life balance. You being creative, and because all the young kids now want to like that 9 to 5 job, 4 days a week. As creative, is if you want to be somewhere, if you want to get somewhere, it's really hard. You just work the normal hours, And she was honest, and not gonna say rude, but like on your face, in somehow say, listen, if you want to get somewhere, it's not a 9 to 5, 4 days a week job. It's not. You need to find the balance, but it is. You need to go and do it. No one is going to do that for you. And I think the kids nowadays expecting so much that from companies, and it's quite hard. It's really difficult to see.
And I think that's the difference between a job and a career, right? Like a job, it's 9 to 5. You do your thing, you get out, but you get nothing of it. You just get your paycheck. If that's what you want, do it. But I think designers, graphic designers, visual artists, people in this industry, creatives, they're looking for a career, right? Like every single work that they do, they leave a piece behind on that work, right? Like it's a piece of yourself there. So like there is an investment, personal investment. So that's why creatives get so frustrated every time, like when the work doesn't turn out the way they want, because, you know, there is a personal investment, attachment to that piece of work, right? And it's the only way to kind of like cope with the deadlines, with, you know, the challenge, the client feedback. Like, you know, we joke about like final .psd or final .psd, but that's we can only handle that because we really love doing this, right? Otherwise, like, yeah, take it, I don't care, it's over, my time is over. And that's not, you know, how designers behave. Like we really want to see through, and we'll just do the extra mile. Like otherwise, just get a job and, you know, just get paycheck and that's it.
Speaking of the kind of like the personal investment side, really, because, you know, you like say like every project you put a bit of your heart and soul in, no matter what it is. But I think that's also one of the hard aspects of the job too, because there'll be so many occasions where, you know, I don't think some clients don't really care about the personal investment side, and it's really difficult to see a project go out when it's not the kind of like what you originally envisioned, that you know would be much nicer. I don't know. It's sometimes really hard to deal with.
I think that's why it's so hard to put together portfolios, right? Like I think every designer struggles so much with when they look back at the work that they did and be like, you know, like, I hate this, I hate that one, I hate this one. And then they start remembering those things that happened.
Pain.
The pain, like it's still like it's always scars. That's why like my emoji has a scar on the top and it has band-aids. That's the reason why, because it went through so much, and it's like a lot of feedback and a lot of you know, you invest a lot of hours and then there's a comment that comes in, this is a great start, and it's like it breaks you. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, I think there's a lot of involvement, like personal involvement, even though even sometimes like the clients don't appreciate. I think there are clients that do appreciate it, but the ones that don't appreciate
definitely
it,
are, yeah.
because they're probably jealous of what you can do. You know what I mean? Like,
you think some of it's a bit like justifying their own jobs. You know, you have like a creative producer as a middle person in between, and they're trying to justify their jobs by like knocking back your ideas because they're too good.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, I mean, I've seen things, but we'll leave that for another time.
Let me ask you, Thiago, Huda did a good question. Is a subject is going on for quite a while now, and everyone talking, and some people is scared, some people is against, some people is pro to that. Let's talk a little bit about the AI, you know, and we can't say that word, you know, but let's say, you know, because especially your work being, let's say, an illustrator is a still image guy, so that is a massive big problem with Midjourney now, where you can, you know, training the AI. I think there is the good things of the AI, but I want to get your opinion. You know, what you think is something you're worrying about? You know, you think is something that is here to help us? Or what is your thoughts about that?
I think we're feeding the monster. Honestly, it's gonna take all over. No, I think AI is, I mean, the way image making on AI, we don't need it, right? Like, I think, you know, I rather see AI helping us do all the things that it's gonna help people do more art, right? Like, I don't need a computer doing art for me. Like, I think I need the computer making mundane tasks better, easier, faster, so I can do art, right? Like, humans supposed to be doing art more and more, be more creatives. And that's how I see it. But I don't think that's the way it's going and the way they are approaching this. And I think AI could help, like, in the process. I mean, I hate to see art being stole, to feed it to the AI. So there are, the artists that put so many hours learning and crafting their technique, they just get robbed, right? Of that. But there are other things with AI that, like ChatGPT is amazing, right? Like to help you with ideas. Just talk, it's almost like having a creative partner with you.
But writers are probably thinking a similar thing.
Yeah, the writers probably thinking the same thing, but I don't know if it's gonna get to a point that is as creative as a human. I mean, we can doubt anything at this point, right?
I think a part of creativity is connecting dots that aren't necessarily not particularly logical, and that's, I think, one aspect of computers are completely logical, really. So I think creativity for kind of like a higher end is fine. But
did you watch that movie, Her?
Yeah, back in the day. That was David O'Reilly.
It's gonna become conscious. It's gonna take over, and we're gonna have to move to Mars because of that.
But it's funny because
didn't Arnold Schwarzenegger warn us about Mars?
we were talking. I just came back from Manila and for the conference. Then we were talking, few of us there, because the ChatGPT. Did you see the guys? Because the AI suppose can't tell you like sexual things or like criminal things and things like that, but they made a way they can kind of corrupt or hack the system, so they force the AI believe, he knows he can't do, but he can't play a game, so he can be someone else, and being someone else, if he doesn't do that or tell that story, he's gonna die. And being there, the AI accept the reason, and he tell you what you wanted to know. So that's creating a problem. Like corruption. Corruption is a really human thing, because plants, animals don't corrupt themselves. We as a human does, So suppose the AI not supposed to be able to corrupt himself, but us as a human start doing quite a lot now. So it's starting to be quite a massive problem because they don't even know how to fix that, And with all the art and everything, it's what people talking a lot, Is it stealing art, But is a way in the future it's gonna be like a lawyer, like a royals, like a stock footage where every time it's generated using someone art, the artists get a pay, like this, like similar what Spotify does. I'm not saying Spotify is good because it was a massive fight as well on the industry because they fucked up a lot of the musicians. But
I can't see them like doing the royalty side of things because it takes from such a vast network of images, and it's an amalgamation of a crap ton of images.
Yeah,
and royalties is just not an option.
Yeah, and I think there's something that I heard a couple of weeks ago with our tech team at Deutsch, that I think it kind of gives a light to this thing. Like they told me, like I haven't done yet, I don't know yet. I'm trying to learn this, but like I could train AI to just with my own images, on my own style. So then that's me giving permission to AI to kind of like work on my own style and give me output. Then I think it's very valuable, right? Like, because then, I can prompt something, get some ideas, and then I'll just bring it back and kind of like refine, add some stuff. Then I think that's very, like, it's gonna speed up the process, is gonna be good. What's happening right now, though, right? I think it's just not fair to the artists. Like I start like looking at the work and thinking about like how many years those people like put to work to learn to get to that point, because it's not easy, right? Like, and then a prompt takes over and people say, I'm an AI artist. I hate that.
AI artist.
I hate that term because, and people say, you could direct, like if you're a director, you're directing, you're just giving prompts to people. It's not the same. Like,
it's not the same.
There's the human relationship. You need to know how to give direction. You need to understand how, it's a collaboration. So the input that you give, you're gonna get an output, and then there is a vision. There is all that. So it's not the same. So I think there'll be a point that if we can train our own work, like my own visual style, I can train the AI to do that. Or if I can train the AI to do my own photography style, I think that'll be great. And as far as like I heard, like, stock images are trying to do this thing, as long as we understand that, we shouldn't be using this for final, like you should be using for concept, for sketch, for ideas and things like that. I think it helps with the creative process, to speed things up. The problem is people always want the shortcut, right? Like they just want the shortcut, and that's the human nature you're talking about. Like you would always want to get shit that, and that's not AI's fault, like it's
thinking, like is it that much different than when like an agency sends out like a pitch saying, hey, copy this style? I guess the difference is
I think it's different because you're using as a reference for, like you're asking to copy a style, but you still need to do the work. With the AI, you just don't do anything. You copy, I guess and don't do it.
So the main difference is really the payment side of things. Like you're getting compensated for your time, as opposed to with AI, it's like just done or whatever.
Yeah. Because I've seen that happening. Like, hey, let's like that happened to me actually. Like people want me to mimic someone else's style, and I mean that first the creative should be kind enough to say, hey, you should go after the person that did that style, right? Like don't be greedy. That's the first. And also shame on the agents that doing that, like we shouldn't be doing that. And then, but the AI right now, I heard from someone that was like, oh, I was getting a commission to do album cover for music for an artist. And then I sent the price and they said, oh, we're going to go with AI. I mean,
what? Maybe they meant Illustrator.
It was like, man, you know what I mean? Like, this is the kind of problem we get, and we shouldn't be getting those, like the AI, it should be here to help. But the way they put the tool, the greedy, like, let's everybody add to this and blah, blah, blah. It was so wrong, right? Like, I hope the law is going to come and it's going to fix this. It's going to like take the art from the artists there that were stolen, and maybe there is a deal that they could cut and be like, hey, Midjourney, hey, Adamas, I want to pay you to be on my tool. Hey, Thiago, hey, James, I want to pay you to be on this tool. Then, you get royalties, you get things like that. I think that works. Right now, it's like they're paying no one and they're making billions.
It's quite offensive when someone says, no, I'll just do it with AI. I mean, fucking hell.
Yeah, because when was, I think a couple of weeks ago, Ariel Costa, the Blink My Brain, it's a friend of mine, he was in the show, and he was posting about, because he said, I lost so many pitches in my life that, doesn't matter. It's part of the life, it's part of the job. We go, we win and we lose. But he said it was the first time he lost a pitch where the client came and said, we're doing with AI.
The problem with that is
fucked up.
That they're going to use his images to feed it into Midjourney, and that's the real hard aspect.
Even worse. Yeah.
Like if there's some way to ring fence your images, but I just don't think there is right now. I think that's
maybe how NFTs come to place, right? In the future, because NFT you can put the footprint there, so
proof of stake
that's the way we're gonna be able, because what happened was we talked about NFTs and crypto, blah, 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 and then metaverse, blah, 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 and now AI, right? Like it's so fast, like everything's so fast. I remember when the internet started, it was like, you need to learn how to make a website. And it was like this linear thing. Now it's crazy. Like 2 years ago, we were talking about NFTs. Last year, metaverse. This year, AI. It's like
it's going
crazy.
fast.
It's too fast.
I keep thinking of Wally, where he's just got all these fat, lazy people on chairs just going around. Next year, man. Next year. Give it a year. We're there.
But we were joking here in the studio, this week we were talking about AI and how if you're gonna get our job. And one conclusion we had, we used to work with clients, and we know clients never know what they want. Now imagine all these clients trying to tell the AI what to do and change what they did. If it's hard for us than a creative and we can change things, imagine how the job's gonna finish.
I think that's one silver lining right now. Obviously, I think it will change down the line, but when you're putting the same parameters into Midjourney or whatever, you'll get a completely different result each time.
Yeah.
So you can't just tweak one aspect kind of thing. You have to go in there and Photoshop it or whatever. And I think that's the tricky part right now. But I do suspect that will change in the future.
I think it's inevitable. Technology is there, and technology comes to disrupt, right? So we're gonna have to adapt. We're gonna have to find a way. But it's just like, it breaks my heart to see, a lot of the artists kind of like their style, someone worked so hard to get to a special lighting setup. Like, you go on like Domestic or Skillshare to try to learn like how to do that, right? Like you go over there, like you spend money to kind of like learn that thing.
Yeah.
You see through classes and things like that. So, and then AI just like, cool, a volumetric light,
done it,
4K. Come on, we need boundaries, right? Like we need to shape
on the plus side, though, it means our artwork can live on way after we're dead.
It's not.
We're gonna be still producing. So changing the subject a little bit. We hitting 1 hour show. We don't want to hold you too long, but tell me what can we expect? Where are we going with your work? Where you see yourself? In the next 3-5 years. Where do you have, or is just like the same, the chaos, and you're gonna see where you're going, or not having a plan, but where do you want to be? Kind of clients you want to work.
So it's gonna be like a floating head with robotic arms. Well, the way I see it, I love this. Like I saw there is a trend on TikTok. There's like, I don't have a hobby. This is my hobby, right? And this is what I really like to do. Like when I have spare time, I'm designing. Like I'm designing when I'm done designing, and this is what I like to do. So, I guess I love to work for more lifestyle and sports kind of clients. Again, I used to do a lot, like for, I did work for Adidas and Nike and others. So I love to kind of like explore that more, and also kind of like establish more this new kind of work that I have been doing. Like I pretend to be on conferences, like there is the Designer Con this year here in Los Angeles. Like it's been really cool, and I want to have my stuff there. So I think it's really like establishing more those kind of like yellow emojis that I have been doing, and kind of like evolve more this body of work that I have been doing on the side. I don't really make plans, like honestly, like my life wasn't planned anything. Like I had kids before I could really design anything. So I don't like to, I really don't like to make plans, but I think, I think just continue to do the work that I have been doing. It's already like a blessing, right? Like if you think about where I came from to here, it was a big jump. I learned English, and I'm talking English right now, but I learned that after I came to the US, which is crazy, you know. So
makes me feel bad that I couldn't pronounce the Portuguese Brazilian
you can
question
go there
earlier.
and learn Portuguese.
Such a fucking failure.
But yeah, I really don't make plans, so I don't expect. I think when there is no expectations, you don't really get how they say it, disappointed, right?
Yeah.
To plan is to plan to fail.
Yeah. True.
Man, I would make a rubbish producer.
That's nice. And do you have any question, James, or should I ask one last question?
You go for it.
So, just like for all the young generation, then, you know, look at your work, get inspiring and everything. If you could tell yourself, you know, if you were for 20 years old, you know, now, what would you change, or what would you give as advice for, you know, someone who's starting the career?
I think today it's very hard for the young generation. And I say that, you know, it's supposed to be the other way because, you know, we got evolved with the internet, we got evolved with the tools, the technology, you know, that, but there is so much, right? Like there is so much going on. There is AI, NFTs, there is metaverse, there is 3D, there is design, there, you know, there's a lot going on. So I think the best advice I'd give, and it kind of has to do with my career, is just get focused, right? Like try to get focused. See what is the thing that you're most passionate about. I think that's the best way to kind of like guide your career, because there is way too much going on. So like if you try to do everything that people are telling you to do, you're gonna get so lost, and you're gonna end up in therapy, and it's gonna be another generation therapy again. I think because I was self-taught, I kind of had to learn so many different things, and I kind of like, you know, it's valuable, but there are things that I don't use today in my work, right? Like there's techniques that I don't use today. I know how to do them. I know how to get there, but I don't really use them. And I think getting focused on what you like to do and kind of like mastering that, and just bring some add-ons as you go, I think is the best way, because there is way too much going on, and if you try to do everything, you're gonna be so lost.
That's nice. Yeah,
I agree.
Completely agree. Cool. That's really nice. I think it's a nice way to finish the show today. Thank you so much, man. It's
thanks.
really nice. Finally, you know, we get you on the show and meet to face, or not, at least screen to screen.
Screen to screen.
You know. But thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. It's great. We have the website on the YouTube, so you guys can follow his work as well. You know, and you can see on the Instagram there is so much to see, and looking forward to see what you're gonna create. You know, especially developing this style, man.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the opportunity. Great. Love the conversation. Thank you so much for the space.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And
so
yes.
we have just a quick announcement. So the next show is gonna be end of March, you know, and the YouTube show, and we're still doing the live shows in Café 1001. We have the next one in 4th of April. We're gonna announce soon. Next month it's gonna be, I'm not sure, it's the 14th or the 15th anniversary.
I don't know. If I get it wrong, do we split up?
Yeah.
We did have a show planned in January, but unfortunately because of the strikes, the train strikes and the teacher strikes, we had to cancel it. But yeah, our next one will be on the 4th of April, unless there's a strike.
It's gonna be our anniversary. And it's funny as well, I just realized in April also is the 3rd anniversary of the YouTube channel as well. So it's been, doesn't feel like that. Yeah, it's crazy.
We're definitely getting that YouTube money now.
Yeah, we're getting older. But guys, thank you so much.
Yeah.
We're gonna keep everyone posted on the Instagram, so just keep an eye on that. Thank you again, man, for coming the show. It was a really pleasure to talk to you and knowing you a little bit more about you, man.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, guys. And cool. I close the end stream. So.